Several weeks ago, we postponed the live press briefing that was held every week at the former administration building. We were relocating equipment and setting up a temporary room over here at the new building, which would be our press room. And after 2 weeks, we were to resume. It was extended with 1 or 2 more weeks. And today, we are having our first live press briefing from the new government building. It gives me great pleasure to introduce some of the members of the new Council of Ministers that was sworn in just yesterday. And yesterday evening at 5 o'clock, we had a reception in honor of the new government. Several members of government are not present. 6 ministers and the minister plenipotentiary were sworn in yesterday. Our Minister of TIAT is not yet in office, as the minister is still going through the screening process. We have the Minister of Justice and Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Raphael Bosman, had a previous engagement and had to leave immediately yesterday following the swearing in. He will be off island in the Netherlands for a period of 2 weeks, and in the interim, he is being replaced by Minister of Finance, Minister Richard Gibson. And in the absence of a Minister of Tourism and Economic Affairs, Minister Raphael Bosman is the acting Minister of Tourism and Economic Affairs. And in his absence, because he won't be here for 2 weeks, the responsibility then falls on my person, the Minister of General Affairs. Minister Lee is one of the ministers that has returned to the new government. Minister Lee is in charge of public health and labor. Minister Lee is not present this morning. He is supposed to be on his way. The heavy traffic due to the economic activities taking place during the Christmas season is creating quite some traffic on the island. We are looking at ways and means to resolve it for the Christmas season particularly, and the holiday season, but we are bouncing up on some challenges. Contractors are going on vacation, but one of the main areas that we wanted to address, which is the ring road, connecting the ring road from town all the way through Madam Estate. We are trying to put that in for the busy season, but we're encountering some challenges, particularly because of the many rain showers over the past weeks that calls for the regular opening of the floodgate, which brings the necessary challenges with it. But Minister Lee, we hope, will join us shortly. Returning as well to the new cabinet is no stranger to the press briefings, and definitely no stranger to the public of St. Martin, our Minister of Finance, Minister Richard Gibson, whose discipline that he brought along with him in the Justice Ministry, ensuring that the ministers and the organization stick as much as possible to what has been agreed upon. We not only presented a balanced budget in record time for 2016, but the minister was also able and capable of steering the financial management of government in such a direction that the year 2016 will end with a surplus. In addition to that, the minister was also responsible for ensuring that the 2017 budget was presented to the Council of Ministers in time, was presented to Parliament in time in accordance with the law, and was approved also in time. A record for St. Martin, and this is a trend we hope was not only established now, but will be maintained throughout the reign of this government. And once that happens, will become a trend and a norm for St. Martin, and would then be reason for us to deal with the entire, all the agreements put in place as far as the CFT is concerned, to ensure that the new countries would stick to fiscal discipline. To my immediate right, we have also no new face to the Council of Ministers, the hard-working Minister of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, Ms. Sylveria Jacobs, who is returning again, this time for a full 4-year term as Minister of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture. The past weeks have been extremely busy, and whenever I'm looking for her, she has gone to some event at one of the schools. And we hope that as soon as the new year opens and everything normalizes in education as well, that the minister can return to full duty in the office. Not that I'm criticizing, but I'm saying the minister has been very busy. Every event at every school she's been trying to keep up with, and along with that, making sure that the work in the office continues as well. So Minister Jacobs, it's good to have you back, and I look forward to working another 4 years, or 4 years, not another, because this past government was there for just exactly 1 year and 1 month. But we hope now, with the support of our coalition partners and the commitment by the 10 members of parliament supporting this government, that we will be able to stay there for 4 years and provide the people with a stable government, which is what everybody has been calling for, has been asking for, and have been looking forward to. And to my far right, no newcomer to the political arena, but in the Council of Ministers, we are happy to call him our Benjamin, the newest addition to the team, the youngest addition to the team. Those who have been listening to 95.9, 95.5 on a weekly basis would recognize the voice as one of those who have been repeatedly and constantly on the program, for sure, for the past 2 years, I believe, none other than Christophe Emmanuel. He is the new Minister for Infrastructure, Environment, and Housing. Minister Christophe Emmanuel, I want to, on behalf of the rest of the Council of Ministers, welcome you to the Council of Ministers. And as I've been telling him, partially jokingly, and on the other hand, on a serious note, I said, well, you are now given an opportunity to put action where the mouth has been. The best critics sometimes are those who stand on the sidelines. They know how it has to be done, and now he is given an opportunity. Christophe reminds me of myself when I started out many years ago, have been critical of government, critical of the way they do things, and yearned for that opportunity to make sure that once you get in there, that you actually put action where your mouth is and get the things done. Knowing him, living in my area as well, I can tell you that I know him to be someone with a big heart, and the heart goes out to the people. You cannot always please everybody and give everybody what they want, but one thing you can do is definitely try to ensure that the people get what they deserve and what people would want. And what people want in St. Martin right now is a government that A, is stable, a government that is honest, open, and transparent, and a government that provides the needs for the people. One of the areas the minister will be responsible for is housing. And for several years, we have not seen much action undertaken in the area of housing. But the Council of Ministers, for sure, want to work with the new minister and give him all the support to support the St. Martin Housing Development Foundation in ensuring that our housing stock increases every year, and that at the end of a 4-year term, we can look back and say, job well done. During the campaign trail, one of the things that we encountered on a regular basis were people crying out for more, better, and most of all, affordable housing. If we look in the newspapers every day, we would say, but how come people can't find a home? They cannot find affordable homes. When someone works for $600 and $700 take home pay per month, they cannot afford to pay $600, $700, or $800 for an apartment, let alone a 1 or a 2-bedroom apartment, and you have 3 to 4 kids to raise in that environment. So people need affordable housing, and I for sure will support the minister in whatever plans he and the Housing Foundation and the ministry will come up with in realizing affordable and proper housing. Infrastructure is one of the concerns that we have as well, because that can have an adverse effect on our economy. Right now, we are happy to see the many landings at the airport. We're happy to see the long lines of tourists coming to celebrate the holidays with us. But it is frustrating, not only to us, but extremely frustrating to them if you get off a flight that took just over 2 hours to fly from Miami to St. Martin, and all is in your mind is the vision of that white sand and the blue beaches that you have seen of, let's say, a resort like Westin, and you want to head over to your resort to plunge into the waters and enjoy the comfort of your room, and it takes you another 2.5 hours in bumper-to-bumper traffic jam. And add to it the rainfall, the showers. Yes, they are blessings, but we like, particularly at night when I'm sitting down on my phone and answering messages, and the rain is falling in the background, I enjoy that. But when you are stuck in traffic and the rain and the puddles of water, these are not things that we enjoy, and for sure not the tourists who come here to enjoy a friendly, sunny beach island in the Caribbean, and their experience turns out to be one similar to a traffic jam in Manhattan or any one of the other big cities. So there are many challenges that rest on the shoulder of the new minister, but those of us who can look at the shoulders know they're broad, they're young, and they're strong, and therefore can carry quite some weight. So I want to, with this, thank you for coming, thank you for viewing. Even though the ministers were sworn in yesterday, some of them for the first time, the Council of Ministers, those who have been here, who are repeating, even though one can say, well, they have been in office, but the past weeks, getting ready for the Central Committee meeting of the budget, getting ready for the public handling of the budget, and taking part in different events, made it quite challenging for them to be able to even address you today. But we did not want to put off the weekly press briefing once again. We thought that since there's a new Council of Ministers in place, that the least we can do is address you this morning, and through you, the public of St. Martin. I want to thank publicly again those of you who were here at the well-attended reception in honor of the new Council of Ministers yesterday. We had a packed full house, literally a packed house yesterday. We want to thank all of those who came out to the meet and greet and to congratulate the new Council of Ministers and to pledge their support, their prayers, and their well wishes on this new government. We want to thank all of them for coming out. The 3 ministers who formed part of the cabinet from November 19, 2015 to yesterday, December 20th, 2016, namely our former Minister of Justice, Mr. Edson Kirindongo, our former Minister of Romi, Minister Angel Myers, and the former Minister of Tourism Economic Affairs, Mrs. Ingrid Irania Arundel. I want to once again thank all of them publicly for the support they have given to the government, for helping the government to realize several programs, projects, and most of all, keep the government going. I also once again want to publicly thank the coalition partners that we have had supporting the government in 2014 and 15, which actually made up the red, white, and blue as parties. But in between, we also had MP Silvio Matzer, who at that time was an independent member. We also had MP Maurice Lake, who was also an independent member at that time. And I want to again publicly thank the leader of the Democratic Party and her faction for the support they have given to red, white, and blue. Also, the leader of the USP party, Mr. Franz Richardson, for his support he has given in 2015 to 16, and for remaining part of this new coalition that commonly is known as the red, white, and blue coalition, the colors of our flag, and we hope to continue to count on their support for the next 4 years. I want to make use of this opportunity to thank again the members of the media who have supported us at every press briefing for the past year, and the public of St. Martin. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for your response, your reactions via email, via Facebook, via WhatsApp to the individual members at times, giving us and sharing your concerns with us. And finally, I would like to ask for your prayers and your support as we embark on this journey in governing this country together. I want to, on behalf of myself, the Council of Ministers, and my family, wish each and every one of you a happy Christmas, a Merry Christmas. I will wish you a Happy New Year, because that is still a week away after Christmas. But for now, let's suffice with wishing all of you a Merry Christmas, a joyful holiday season, and look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
I'd like to start by expressing a warm word of welcome to our newest, our Benjamin, as the Prime Minister pointed out, Mr. Christophe Emmanuel, to coming into the arena to look after the welfare of the people. It's not an easy task. Be ready for criticism. Be ready to work hard if you want to accomplish. And I look forward to working with you in the Council of Ministers. I have many reasons to be thankful, and I count my blessings. One of them is that the budget has passed with honors, I should say. Take note that Parliament has passed the budget. It's balanced. It's the second balanced budget that St. Martin has passed now. And this one was completed prior to the first of the year, which is also a novum. The route is not yet finished. CFT whom we already asked to review the budget before Parliament even passed it, has given their reviews, their comments. We have worked those comments into the budget by means of a budget amendment. But nevertheless, they still have to give the final word and give their advice to the Council of Ministers of the Kingdom before the budget becomes final. They expect to be able to do so within 3 weeks. So sometime after the 10th of January, I expect that the green light will be given for the budget. The budget is balanced. The budget has replaced the cuts for subsidies that we had in the 2016 budget. Those cuts have been replaced in this budget. And if all goes well as we expect, for the first time, we will not only have a budget that is balanced 2 years in a row, but this year we expect a slight surplus in the budget, which is good news, which we should all be proud of, which sends a message that St. Martin is getting its financial house in order. Based on the instruction given by the Kingdom, there were certain things that we had to accomplish before December 31st. They have not been completed, but substantially completed. One of them is the increasing of the age, pensionable age to 65, which there's now an agreement on with the unions and everybody and the pension fund and the government. But the requirement under the instruction was that the necessary laws that accompany it had to be passed by Parliament before December 31st. That did not happen. It will happen early next year. But substantially, we've met and we've taken that hurdle and accomplished to arrive at an agreement between all parties to be able to have a sustainable pension fund system going forward in future. And that everybody should be happy about. The budget also requires, and I assume that the Minister of Health will speak to that point, that we have also passed by Parliament a new national healthcare system. A framework for that has been passed by the Council of Ministers. That has to find its way in the pipeline to Parliament. But for all intents and purposes, that framework is now there. And finalizing it is going to be one of the challenges that the Minister of Labour and Health will have this coming 2017. The budget in general needs some improvement. And we're working on those improvements. We started with the budget 2017. The next budget, we should be able to meet, or we're going to attempt to meet, all of the requirements as outlined by the Chamber of Accounts. There are 12 points that we have to meet. We're going to try to meet those points as much as possible in 2017 and build them in our 2018 budget. The 2018 draft budget, our plan is to start immediately now with a draft for the 2018 budget and finalize and submit that to the Council of Ministers sometime in August 2017. That would be a major accomplishment if that can be done, because normally on the September 2nd is when the budget should have been passed by parliaments. It happens in the Netherlands. And there is no reason, in my view, why we cannot clear that hurdle and make sure that the budget for 2018 is submitted as the law stipulates. So we are very ambitious in our plans going forward in terms of improving the budget, as well as, and this is the most important part, hopefully the 2018 budget will not end with a small surplus, with a big surplus. I say that very hopefully, simply because the enormous debt that we were confronted with, that we had to be paid off, for debts that built up over many, many years, amounting to approximately more than 200 million guilders in back debts. We now have the basis to settle and pay for two-thirds of it. Two-thirds of it basically is under control, repaid, and in 2017, we hope to be in a position to say to you that St. Martin, as far as those back debts are concerned, is now completely up to date, and we can look forward to embarking on policies for development that all the people deserve on St. Martin. Speaking about development, of course we're very vulnerable, a little speck in the world, a world that in many ways dictates what happens here economically, that we have no influence on. I've mentioned before that globalization and hyper-globalization is something that we do not participate in simply because we produce nothing else than tourist services.